This is episode 27 of 10,000 Africans podcast. I am your humble host, JD Tarpe. Before I go any further, let me just apologize that the release of this is on a Tuesday instead of the regular Monday. But we have an exciting show today, so thank you again for tuning in and welcome to 10,000 Africans podcast. Remember to subscribe, rate, and review 10,000 Africans wherever you consume your podcasts. Our guest for today is the CEO and co-founder of Dislabelled, which is a social enterprise that combats the stigmas and marginalizations that people with disabilities face in Ghana. She is a recipient of the Queen's Young Leader Award, and she, along with the co-founders, started the organization when they were in high school. They have been working at it, and today on the show we're excited to have her on. Welcome to the show, Efua. It's great to have you on.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Obviously, I gave a little bit of your history if you'd like, but I can't fill it in. So please fill in the gaps and tell us, what is your story? What has led you here?
Okay, so before I proceed, I know you made mention of this, but I'm just one of the three co-founders. The other co-founders are Ama Akowuah and Sedinam Worlanyo. So my name is Efua, as you already said, and I grew up in Ghana. Had my education in Ghana until uni. So for my university, for my undergrad, I went to school in the US, and then right after I went to the UK to do my master's, and I just recently finished in December. Yeah.
Nice. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what I want to know is, why did you start Dislabelled?
While growing up in Ghana, I realized that there were a lot of beggars on the streets, and most of them were people with disabilities. And I always used to ask questions. I always used to ask my dad on the way to school. I'd be like, Dad, why are people with disabilities always on the streets? Like, why aren't they in school? Why don't we ever see successful people who have disabilities in Ghana? Why don't we see them in public settings? Like, I never met a person with a disability in school, church, or even at a party. So I don't know. I just felt like for some reason they had been marginalized, and that was actually the case. I never really got a concrete answer for it. So when I was in high school, I was the president of the Pan-African Club, and we invited Miss Farida Bejoy. So Miss Farida Bejoy has cerebral palsy, and she's a great software developer and an author. And when we invited her, I was just surprised. I was amazed to see that someone with a disability was successful. Someone with a disability in Ghana was successful. And so I asked her what the secret was, and she told me that her parents invested heavily in her education. So that led me and my two friends, my co-founders, Ama Akowuah and Sedinam. It led us to visit special education schools in Accra, which is the capital of Ghana, to have an idea of what exactly was going on and how we could help. So yeah, that's how this started. Wow,
the things that curiosity can do, because I think in a lot of African countries it's a similar case, but a lot of us simply just pass and assume it is part of the norm, and we don't question it for a second. So it takes a special kind of person to question it and actually even more so do something about it. So how do you think your work has added value to Ghana and to the continent as a whole?
I believe that our work has raised a lot of awareness about disability issues, especially among the youth of Ghana. Because prior to the Dislabelled movement, I personally don't know of any organization that was doing the work we were doing or was raising awareness, especially among the youth. Another thing is that we have supported about 4 special education schools in terms of like donating teaching materials, volunteering, to assist the teachers, organizing teacher training sessions and workshops, and having parent support and counseling sessions as well. So that's another way that the work we are doing has contributed to that. In the near future, we are hoping to branch into employment for people with disability in Ghana and finding ways of absorbing them into the workforce. Another way that I believe our work has added value to the continent is making young people aware that it's possible to create change and it's possible to solve the problems that we are passionate about.
I think that is important because they look up to you and they see that you are doing something to change the society that they're in, and that can have a huge impact on them and the rest of their lives. So you won the Queen's Young Leader Award.
Yes.
What was that like?
It was great. It was a very enriching experience. I made a lot of great friends, amazing friends. It's a good network to have, honestly, because through the people that I met and through the workshops that we had during the 1-year course we took with Cambridge University, I've learned so much about managing an organization and developing your ideas and raising funds, and I just learned so many methods of improving our social enterprise. So yeah, it has been a very great learning experience.
Do you get to shake her hand? Are you even allowed to shake her hands?
You are allowed to. Right. So I had the privilege of meeting her twice. So the first time did we shake hands with her? I actually don't remember. This is interesting. And then the second day,
I shook the Queen's hand and I didn't even remember that.
No, not that way. But she presented us with the awards, with our medals. But I don't remember if we actually shook her hand. But on the second day, I got to shake her hand. That I remember.
Nice. Yeah. Were you ever tempted to take a selfie with her?
No, I generally don't really take selfies, so I wasn't inclined to do that. Yeah.
So, Efua, what is your biggest challenge that you faced so far in your work with Dislabelled, or in general working on the continent of Africa?
Okay, so I'll say our biggest challenge is funding. Most of our funding has come from outside the continent. Most of it has come from Swarthmore College, actually. And yeah, it's just hard to raise funds in Ghana. And I've spoken to a lot of colleagues in other African countries, and they've had the same sentiment. So yeah, fundraising is one of the biggest challenges. Another challenge is the human resource, finding people who are as passionate about the cause as you are to run with the cause. Yeah,
true. And I think especially when it's something that has a stigma around it, right? So
exactly.
Do you think it's because people don't want to donate to the specific cause, or they just don't give in general?
I think a part of it is donor fatigue as well. There's so many NGOs springing up. There's so many social enterprises springing up, and I feel like people sometimes are bombarded with different causes to donate to and to care about, So that is one of the main challenges. I think that's the main problem, yeah.
That is a valid point, true. As you know, it takes money and time to run a show, to run a podcast. And I've been doing that out of my own pocket, my own budget, and I don't mind. But I've given you the opportunity as a listener to be part of supporting the show. So go to 10,000africans.com/donate, and you can also use our shop to buy 10,000 Africans merchandise. So thank you so much for your support. We look forward to hearing from you and getting your gifts. So, it can be hard to continue doing this, but you still do it, and you and your co-founders continue to push as hard as you can to make it happen, and you are doing it. So, what is it that drives you to do what you do?
So one of the main things that drives me is my love for people, and I believe it's the same for my co-founders as well. Yesterday, we put up a post and it was a quote by Leah Sibnar, and what she said was, "For us, success is helping people," and that really resonates with us because we are very people oriented. So when we see how much work we have to do to satisfy the people that we are working for, that is the people with disability, that motivates us. Yeah, and I'm also Christian, and you're taught to love your neighbor as yourself and to constantly bless other people and give as you are given. So that also keeps me motivated. And I think another thing that keeps me motivated is because honestly, there are times when I felt like throwing in the towel, or there are times when I felt like my passion had dwindled, or there are times when I honestly didn't know how to balance maybe school or work with Dislabelled. But I realized that you have to always remind yourself of why you started. And we started because we saw that there was a huge problem on the continent and in Ghana specifically, and we wanted to change that. So until our goal is reached, we cannot rest. So that's one main thing that keeps me focused as well, the gap between where we are and where we want to be and why we started.
And that is very, very important to keep, chasing that, because at least you've set something. If you didn't set that goal for yourself or for the organization, you don't know where you're going. So it's easier. Yeah. It's easier to throw in the towel. So therefore, you have started something and you are continuing to build on it, and you guys are working as hard as you can. So for those who are listening, for the audience, and for anyone who may stumble upon this or send it to other people, what is that one advice that you'll give to young Africans who are in the diaspora or on the continent, who are looking to add value to the continent or to Ghana?
I'd say the one advice I have is to tell them that when they fall, they shouldn't stay where they fell. They should pick themselves up and move forward. Because, can I have two pieces of advice, please?
Oh, go ahead.
I know you said one.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I would say that. So that's the first one, to pick yourself up whenever you fall. Because I can't even count the number of slumps I've had in my journey with Dislabelled. I can't begin to count the number of times I felt like I was inconsistent. But then I'm always reminded that it's a journey towards perfection, and the fact that it's a journey makes you know that you are not at your destination yet. And once you're not at your destination, you of course face a lot of challenges and failures, but the most important thing is to really pick up from where you left. And that's one thing that I'm learning. So I'm just learning to forgive myself when I fall, and have the strength and courage to move on. The next thing is that the next piece of advice that I have is that people should learn to collaborate and have a group of friends who are also social entrepreneurs, because that really helps. They're able to, sometimes when we haven't posted on Instagram or social media in a while, or we haven't implemented a project that we promised to implement, some of my friends text me and like, hey, I've realized you haven't posted in a while. Are you fine? Is everything okay? Is there any way I can help? Because it really takes a village, honestly and truly. It takes a village to reach your goals. So yeah, I would say the two pieces of advice is to always move forward, regardless of how many times you fall or fail. And secondly, to plant yourself in a group of supportive friends, like a network of supporting friends or of social entrepreneurs.
And that can be very important to people's mental well-being and their ability to actually get the work done.
Yes, definitely.
Our last question. If you had 10,000 Africans at your disposal with expertise in every field, what would you do?
This is a tough one, but I think it would be I don't know how we're going to do it, but to create jobs in the different fields that we are in. Because I have, over the past year, I've been reading a lot on employment, underemployment, unemployment, and I've realized that that's one of the major challenges of the continent. Skills mismatch, people in the informal economy being underpaid, or people being underemployed in general. And that's one thing that I'm really passionate about. And I strongly believe that once people are employed properly and decently, as the ILO puts it, that it gives them the economic agency to do different things and to change their circumstances. So, yeah, it would be job creation.
Job creation, I like that. Well, here we are. We're heading to our rapid fire now, but before we do that, how can people find you and how can people find Dislabelled on the internet or wherever they need to? And also, how can people connect with you?
Okay, yeah. So, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. It's Dislabelled, Dislabelled. There are 3 L's there, don't forget. So Instagram, show us some love on Instagram, comment, send us messages on Facebook, like our posts, tweet at us. Yeah, we love all that, and we'll also be sure to show you some love.
Perfect. And how can they contact you if you don't mind?
Okay, so you can contact us at contact@dislabelled.org. You can also visit our website, dislabelled.org, to send a message. You can also send us a message on Facebook, on Instagram, or you can tweet us at us, and we will get back to you.
Okay, perfect. And we hope that we'll have some people who will be able to reach out to you and connect with you in any way they can. Anyways, Here we are, our rapid fire questions.
I'm excited.
Okay, first of all, what is your favorite African quote?
My favorite African quote is a tree proverb. So it's a Ghanaian proverb, and it says Tikoro Enko Ejina, which basically means one head doesn't ensure stability. So one head or one brain doesn't ensure stability. So it lays emphasis on unity and collaboration for development. So yeah.
Nice.
That's my favorite.
Awesome. So fufu or wache?
Wache.
We know your preferences now. So what is your favorite book?
Can I give favorite books?
Sure.
So I just finished reading The God of Small Things, and I loved it. I love So Long a Letter by Mariam Abba, Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes, Long Walk to Freedom, Nelson Mandela, and Things Fall Apart.
Here we are at the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Efua. I really appreciate having you on the podcast, and I love the social entrepreneurship that you are doing. And we'll make sure that as Africans we support each other, and I hope that people that are listening to the show can connect with you and add value to your organization.
Thank you for having me. This has been fun and it's been great.
Thank you, and please share this podcast with your family and friends to help our platform grow. and rate us and review us on iTunes to help our message reach out there. Don't forget to check out our donation page, 10,000africans.com/donate, or our shop page, 10,000africans.com/shop. And if you have any questions or discussion, just leave it down below in the comments or email me at hello@10,000africans.com, and I'll be excited to reply to you. Thank you very much for listening, and have a wonderful day.